इतना सा फर्क है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन ही नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to each and everyone who has joined us today for our business opportunity over webinar series. I, Archana, along with the entire team of Franchise India, welcomes each one of you to our business opportunity over webinar series. I think I'm facing some problem. Satyam, may I request you to please share my screen? Franchise India is Asia's largest integrated franchise solution company, which is helping day in, day out all the investors in getting the business solutions and suggestions from our side. We are totally customer-centric company. And we are among top 10 management consulting companies of the country because we have helped more than 5,000 international and national brands to expand their business with our 80+ offices. And today, during this digital representation of the webinar, we would like to represent to you the brand Remassis. Remassis, it's India's first chain of cloud clinic, which is powered by artificial intelligence, and they are connecting two most important stakeholders in the healthcare ecosystem. One is the doctor and second one is the patient. And today we have invited the team of Remassis to talk about this business opportunity. It is our privilege to invite and welcome Mr. Abhishek Kumar and Arnab Sinha. Both are co-founders as Remassis to talk about this great initiative they have taken into healthcare vertical. And today they'll be speaking about 4 different models under Remassis. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you so much, Arnab, for joining in today. I also welcome and invite Sonia ma'am for this particular webinar. She'll be hosting this webinar and she'll be taking all your queries. So we request each one of you to share your queries in question and answer box. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you so much, Arnab, for joining in today. May I request to have a PPT from your side so that we get the understanding about the business model from you.
Thank you, Archana. And friends, Remassis is a very interesting opportunity in healthcare. Telehealth, as we all know, has become and come into the mainstream now and is being seen as one of the most beneficial digital technologies for improving patient care. And as the healthcare in India is evolving, there will be a big role of companies like Remassis, who not only act as a catalyst, but also the model which they have launched is very, very scalable. It is an asset-light business, which has a complete customer interface, which is very, very important in any business model. So we have the proud founders of this innovative, disruptive model, which is Mr. Arnab Sinha and Mr. Abhishek Kumar. Both are IIT and friends who have done in-depth research over the model and also have evolved and worked on the model in the last 1 year to make it to offer a great value proposition to all their partners. And if you look at the current scenario, there is a big deficit in the patient doctor ratio. And this model comes as a big relief. And I'll now request both Arnab and Abhishek to kindly have a presentation and share the details with our investors who have joined.
Thank you, Sonia ma'am. Thank you, Archana. Welcome, everyone. So Arnav will be sharing the presentation and starting the presentation pretty soon. Over to you, Arnav.
Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am, and thank you so much to the entire Franchiseindia team for providing us with this wonderful opportunity to talk about Remassis. So Remassis, as Sonia ma'am rightly said, is our venture in the telemedicine and the telehealth space. And telemedicine, especially in the last few years, there has been a lot of awareness that has been created. And especially during COVID times, I am very sure most of us have had some exposure to telemedicine. Very broadly put, telemedicine is the technology which enables a patient and a doctor who are located many, many thousand kilometers away from each other to interact with each other using a video interface. So we will talk a little more about telemedicine as we move forward in this presentation and the kind of tweaks that we have done in our model to make sure that telemedicine continues to be successful, telemedicine continues to be beneficial to patients. So this is the overall presentation outline. I'll start off by talking about the challenges that traditional healthcare is facing at this point in time. Then I'll talk about how telemedicine is trying to address those questions and address those issues. But there are quite a few issues that are also inherent with telemedicine. So I'll talk about those as well and how at Remassis we are trying to solve and bridge this divide. Thereafter, I'll talk a bit about Remassis, how we started it, where we are today. And then we will dive into the different franchise formats that are on offer. And thereafter, we would open the floor to any questions. So starting off, I'll ask you to visualize a scenario around you. So when you step into a good hospital, or imagine you're stepping into a popular clinic or into a popular dispensary, what are the major challenges that you see around you? And I'm sure all of you will resonate with this. So when you go to a good hospital or when you go to a good clinic, the first thing that you would see is that the doctors are always overstretched. The doctors have a paucity of time. You have taken a consultation, then you want a second consultation from the same doctor at the same time. It's absolutely next to impossible. The second challenge that you face as a patient when you step into the clinic is that you would realize that there is always a queue. You want to take an appointment with a good doctor today, anywhere in India, your waiting time could be anywhere from 15 minutes, can go up to even 1 to 1.5 hours. So there is this always queue that is present. There is this always time that you have to spend on the waiting table. Now with COVID, this becomes an even bigger problem because the moment you step into a good hospital or you step into a good clinic, you would see that these are always overcrowded. There are so many patients, there is medical staff, there are doctors, and maintaining this elusive social distance becomes next to impossible. Now, on top of all these problems, a very unique problem is now plaguing India. So when you look around you, you would realize that in the last 20-25 years, there has been a huge incidence of lifestyle diseases. So about 20 years back or about 25 years back, when you go, you would realize that India did not have so many lifestyle diseases. We were used to home food, we were used to home environment, and the exposure to Western culture, Western style of living, and Western food was very low. But in the last 20-25 years, exposure to Western junk food, Western lifestyle has suddenly increased the incidence of lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension. There are so many lifestyle diseases that we had never heard of about 25-30 years back. And now the hospitals are getting overburdened because of these lifestyle diseases. The healthcare infrastructure was already stretched. And on top of that, these lifestyle diseases are compounding the problems of both the patients as well as the doctors. So how does telemedicine solve this problem? So let us look at the traditional definition of telemedicine. And telemedicine is basically a video technology which allows a patient sitting remotely to connect with a doctor who's not sitting next to him. So in a very broad term, when you do a WhatsApp call with your doctor, or when you do a Zoom video call with a doctor, that also comes under the gamut of telemedicine. And definitely telemedicine helps you solve the problem of overcrowded hospitals. It also helps you consult your doctor virtually during the times of COVID-19, where physical distancing is very important. But now, even with telemedicine, and especially in the last couple of years, once you see how telemedicine is becoming popular, you would also realize that there are some very major challenges with telemedicine platforms. And almost all the famous medicine brands or healthcare brands today, or even the hospital brands, are offering telemedicine solution. So I am sure all of you have taken the opportunity to consult a doctor virtually. And these are the four main problems that you would have encountered. The first thing is that when you go to these telemedicine platforms, these platforms expect you to self-diagnose. So as an example, अगर मुझे heartburn हो रहा है या मुझे सीने में जलन हो रही है, तो मैं जब प्लेटफॉर्म पर जाऊंगा तो प्लेटफॉर्म एक्सपेक्ट करेगा कि I self-diagnose. So as a patient, I don't have any medical background. I don't have anyone in my family who has a medical background. And this is 99% of India. ऐसे पेशेंट से these platforms expect कि you will first carry out your own diagnosis. So in case मुझे heartburn है, तो मुझे खुद decide करना है कि whether I am having acidity or whether I am having cardiology issues, ulcer issues, या there is something else. So a lot of patients would obviously go wrong at the first step itself. Now the problem becomes even more difficult जब आपने खुद को diagnose कर लिया, and when you arrive at the platform shows you the doctors as per your choice. So if I have diagnosed myself wrong, and if I feel that my heartburn is because of acidity, then the platform will show me all the gastro doctors that are available for online consultation at that point in time. अब वहां पर भी as a patient, because I don't have any medical background, it becomes impossible for me to select the right doctor. And that is why so many patients या तो वो फर्स्ट स्टेप में गलत हो जाते हैं या सेकंड स्टेप में गलत हो जाते हैं जहां पर उनको राइट डॉक्टर नहीं मिल पाता. And that is why when you compare the ratings of all these telemedicine platforms and some of the biggest healthcare platforms in India which are offering telemedicine services, you would realize that patients are extremely frustrated. वो बहुत disappointed हैं, वो drop out करते हैं, they seek physical consultancy thereafter. Now the third problem is that a lot of these telemedicine platforms have what I call a vanity factor. कि इंडिया के बेस्ट पॉसिबल डॉक्टर्स को अपने प्लेटफॉर्म से एसोसिएट कर लें, उनके नाम को प्राउडली फ्लॉन्ट करें, बट व्हेन यू एक्चुअली गो ऑन द प्लेटफॉर्म एंड ट्राई टू टेक अ कंसल्टेशन फ्रॉम दीज डॉक्टर्स, you would realize that they are never available. In fact, one of the biggest healthcare platforms, and मैं उनका नाम नहीं लूंगा, but very recently they had promoted that Dr. Naresh Trehan, who is possibly the most famous doctor in India right now, is available on their platform. And lots of patients from the remotest parts of the country started logging onto the platform, trying to get a telemedicine consultation with Dr. Trehan. But unfortunately, Dr. Trehan was never online, and the consultancy with Dr. Trehan could never happen. जो चौथी problem है, and this is something that is becoming very critical and very sensitive in the recent times, is the problem of data security. अगर आप न्यूज़ फॉलो कर रहे हैं तो आपने रियलाइज किया होगा कि लास्ट 30 डेज में डोमिनोज का एक बहुत बड़ा डेटा ब्रीच इशू आया था, जहां पर डोमिनोज ने अपने डेटा किसी थर्ड पार्टी सर्विस प्रोवाइडर पे होस्ट किए हुए थे, एंड 18 करोड़ कस्टमर्स का डेटा लीक हो गया था. Their names, their email IDs, their phone numbers, their credit card information, all that was leaked. And this is a problem with telemedicine in its current format in India today. A lot of these platforms use third-party video technology like WhatsApp, Zoom, Skype, etc. And hence the probability of data getting leaked or data breach happening is very, very high. With this, the concept of Remassis, what we have done is we have exactly also solved for these 4 problems. So जब आप हमारे platform पर आते हो, and one is we always encourage you to visit our clinics where there is a nurse that is physically present, and that nurse's responsibility is to understand your problem, to measure your vitals, and then to decide who is the right doctor for you. Even अगर आप ऑनलाइन जाकर बुकिंग लेना चाहेंगे रेमेसिस प्लेटफॉर्म से, so your first interaction will be with a Remassis trained nurse, and this nurse takes the complete onus. वो डिसाइड करेंगी आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम है, वो डिसाइड करेंगी आपके क्या सिम्टम्स हैं, and then she will choose कि आपके लिए राइट डॉक्टर कौन सा है. तो एज अ पेशेंट वी अंडरस्टैंड कि आपके पास मेडिकल बैकग्राउंड नहीं है, मेडिकल नॉलेज नहीं है, and hence we take the complete responsibility of finding the right doctor for you and making sure that the right consultation is happening. हमारे पे जो डॉक्टर्स आते हैं हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पर, एंड आई टॉक अबाउट दिस इन अ कपल ऑफ स्लाइड्स, वो हमने बहुत हैंड पिक किए. So we are not interested in doctors who are very famous but do not have time, do not have energy. So we are only hand-picking doctors, and that's why you will see that at this point in time we have about 35 odd doctors on the platform who are available, who are willing to spend time with the patients. जो चौथा प्रॉब्लम है जो कि डेटा सिक्योरिटी एंड डेटा ब्रीच रिलेटेड है, वहां पर वी हैव कॉन्शियसली क्रिएटेड आवर ओन टेक्नोलॉजी. सो इफ यू रीड अबाउट माय को-फाउंडर अभिषेक, he is very famously known in India as the top 10 biggest best technologists in the country. He already runs a very big technology platform, and he will talk about it at the end of this presentation. But the entire video technology that we have developed, it has been developed from scratch. It is 100% owned by us, and it is a proprietary technology. So कोई भी third party outsourcing नहीं है, and hence whatever sensitive data you are sharing with us, that will be completely safe, and that will be perpetually saved on the cloud. So what is Remassis? Remassis is India's first chain of phygital clinics. And what I mean by saying phygital clinics is कि हमारे proper clinics होते हैं, but they are not like your traditional clinics. So these clinics have a nurse. This nurse is recruited by us, properly trained by us. And when you enter one of these Remassis clinics, the nurse will be your first point of interaction. Nurse आपसे मिलेंगी, आपके प्रॉब्लम को समझेंगी, आपके सारे वाइटल्स को मेजर करेंगी, and there she will upload all this information to the Remassis platform. उसके बाद the nurse will decide आपको exactly क्या प्रॉब्लम है and who is the right specialist for you to consult. But thereafter the game absolutely changes. हमारे डॉक्टर्स क्लिनिक पर नहीं होते, हमारे डॉक्टर्स are present virtually. So you could be a patient sitting in Guwahati and you still have the opportunity to consult a doctor from AIMS. You still have an opportunity to consult a doctor from NIMHANS. You have an opportunity to consult a doctor from AFMC. So this is the beauty of the technology platform that we have built, where as a patient sitting in the remotest part of India, you can consult some of the best doctors. And this entire consultation is supervised and moderated by our Remassis trained nurse, who is picked from the local community. तो वो आपकी लैंग्वेज बोलती हैं, आपका प्रॉब्लम समझती हैं और आपको राइट डॉक्टर से कनेक्ट करती हैं. Even if someone doesn't want to come down to the clinic, he has the option to also ask the nurse to come to his home, and the nurse would thereafter carry out a similar procedure at home and connect the patient to the right doctor. So this is our overall vision. We want to transform the traditional healthcare. We want to make sure that the best possible doctors are available to the patients sitting in the remotest part of the country. And we want to enable this all without exposing the patient and the doctor to the threats of viruses like COVID-19. Why do doctors love us? So this is a very obvious question, that why are so many doctors wanting to associate with Remassis? Why are so many doctors actually upgrading their existing clinics to Remassis? The answer is very straightforward. One is we help you save time. So as a doctor, आप चाहें तो अपने घर से भी कंसल्टेंसी ले सकते हैं, आपका जो ट्रैफिक में टाइम होता है वो रिड्यूस होता है, या if you want you can set up a clinic close to your home and you can still treat your patients from that clinic by using the Remassis technology, and you can also consult patients that are not located in your area. The second is because we are reducing your travel time, we are reducing your exposure to patients, so we are also guaranteeing social distancing and safety. Very importantly, as doctors, अगर आज आप दिल्ली के सफदरजंग में बैठे हैं, तो आपका जो पेशेंट बेस होगा वो दिल्ली और साउथ दिल्ली के एरियाज का ही होगा. लेकिन विद रेमिसिस आज आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि दिल्ली के सफदरजंग में बैठे हुए भी आप कन्याकुमारी के पेशेंट्स को भी कंसल्ट कर सकते हैं और श्रीनगर के पेशेंट्स को भी कंसल्ट कर सकते हैं. So suddenly the number of patients that you have becomes very, very vast and very, very diverse. Last but not the least, because we are reducing your travel time, you're reducing your consulting time, your efficiency and your income also increases. Now let's talk about why do patients trust us? And this is absolutely the most important point, because our platform has been designed from day one as a patient's first platform. So the reason why patients trust us is because हम आपके लिए accessibility बढ़ाते हैं. तो आज आप इंडिया के किसी भी छोटे विलेज में बैठकर भी इंडिया के बेस्ट डॉक्टर्स को एक्सेस कर सकते हो. डॉक्टर्स की अवेलेबिलिटी होती है, अकाउंटेबिलिटी हमारी है. As a patient, you don't have to self-diagnose, you don't have to select a doctor, we will do it for you. And last but not the least, because telemedicine consultation में डॉक्टर्स को अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है ज्यादा पेशेंट्स को कंसल्ट करने के लिए, उनका टाइम रिड्यूस होता है, तो वो अपने चार्जेस भी कम लेते हैं ऑन अ रेमिसिस प्लेटफॉर्म. These are some of our doctors, and like I mentioned before, we are not a doctor aggregation platform. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई भी डॉक्टर इंडिया में कहीं भी बैठकर रेमिसिस के साथ एसोसिएट हो सकता है. हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पर only those doctors get associated who are willing to spend time, who are willing to invest energy, and who are really serious about consulting patients and making sure that they are with the patient through their entire journey of treatment. So that is why we have doctors from across specialties. So we have neurologists, we have psychologists, we have psychiatrists, gynecologists, pediatrician, diabetologists. ये सारे specialties से हमारे पास handpicked doctors हैं. And in fact, not only allopathy, we also have doctors from homeopathy, naturopathy, and Ayurveda. And these are doctors who are willing to spend time and who are willing to look at this as a patient's first platform. आज तक अभी हमने almost 25,000 से ऊपर consultancy कर लिए हैं. In fact, if I talk about the data from yesterday, we have completed 26,837 consultancy in about 2 years on the Remassis platform and through the Remassis clinics. Now I'll talk about the important part, which is the franchise format, which is what we are all gathered to discuss here today. So our franchise formats, there are 4 different formats that are available. And इसमें से 2 ऐसे format हैं which also does not require you to have any medical background. So जब हमारा पहला format है और जो दूसरा format है, one is a very comprehensive Remassis Health and Wellness Center, जहां पर एक clinic होता है. Clinic के अंदर you have a pharmacy, you have a laboratory, and you have a proper wellness center. ये हमारा सबसे बड़ा format है. And this does not require you to have any medical background. आप किसी भी background से हो सकते हैं, as long as you believe in healthcare, you have some investment and risk-taking appetite, and you believe in the Remassis model, आप इसमें invest कर सकते हैं. जो दूसरा model है, वो थोड़ा सा छोटा format है, which is what we call the Remassis clinic format. इसमें भी आपको कोई prior medical background रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. All you need is an investment appetite, a risk-taking appetite, and a strong belief in the healthcare and the telemedicine sector. जो तीसरा और चौथा format है, that is a very specialized and curated format. One is for the doctors who are already running their clinics, and the second one is for the pharmacists or the lab entrepreneurs who are already running their own setup. And we will cover each of these formats in the next few slides. What I'm doing first is मैं एक बहुत quick comparison करूंगा between all the 4 formats that we have available. तो इन चारों format में 2 चीजें common होंगी. पहली चीज तो जो पहला है telemedicine. So like you already understood, Remassis is a platform that is completely powered by telemedicine. Remassis is a brand where we leverage our own proprietary telemedicine technology and our video solution. तो telemedicine common होगा across all these 4 formats, और nurse common होगी. So in a pharmacy, the pharmacist will have to act as a nurse, or he will have to hire a nurse. With the doctor also, he has to have a nurse who will be coordinating and carrying out the first level of consultation. Clinic and health and wellness center में nurse is absolutely important. And I would like to point out that we have our own systems, so we can also recruit, train and deploy nurses at your setup. जो सबसे बड़ा फॉर्मेट है उसमें फार्मेसी और लैब एज वेल एज वेलनेस सेंटर भी होगा. ऑन साइट डॉक्टर्स किसी में अवेलेबल नहीं होंगे एक्सेप्ट फॉर द डॉक्टरप्रेन्योर प्रोग्राम, जहां पर एक एग्जिस्टिंग डॉक्टर अपने क्लिनिक को रेमेसिस में अपग्रेड करता है. तो क्योंकि वहां पर डॉक्टर खुद ही क्लिनिक पर बैठते हैं, तो दिस इज द ओनली फॉर्मेट जहां पर डॉक्टर विल बी फिजिकली प्रेजेंट एट द क्लिनिक. बाकी तीनों में डॉक्टर क्लिनिक पर नहीं होंगे, वो वर्चुअली प्रेजेंट होंगे और वीडियो कंसल्टेंसी करेंगे. ये थोड़ा सा मैथमेटिकल एनालिसिस करा है हमने अलोंग द नंबर्स. सो जो सबसे बड़ा फॉर्मेट है जहां पर आपका क्लिनिक, लैब, फार्मेसी और वेलनेस सेंटर सब कुछ एक में कंबाइंड होंगे, वहां पर वी नीड अ मिनिमम 500 स्क्वायर फीट एरिया. The investment required would be roughly about 15 lakh rupees. Whatever be the revenue generated through the consultancy or through the lab tests, etc., would be shared on a 60-40 basis. जो second format है clinic में, there also you need about 150 to 200 square feet area. The investment would be about 8 lakh rupees. All the revenues would be shared on a 60-40 basis. जो pharmapreneur model है, वहां पर क्या है, आपका जो existing pharmacy है, that will also be upgraded to a Remassis clinic, and apart from already offering the medicines, you would also have a small area of about 50 square feet jahan par you will be setting up a platform to offer consultancy to patients leveraging the Remassis video platform. So wahan par aapka investment is only about 50,000 rupees. And similarly for the doctorpreneur program, jahan par there is a doctor who wants to associate with Remassis and upgrade his existing clinic to a Remassis clinic, you only have to invest about 50,000 rupees, and you would need at least 50 square feet of area in your existing clinic to set up the Remassis platform. In those models, my revenue sharing will be on a 75-25 basis, where 75% of the revenue would come to us and 25% would go to you. In case of the doctorpreneur program, if the doctor himself is consulting patients at his clinic, then you will only have to pay us 50 rupees per consultancy. Rest is yours. But if the consultancy happens with one of our doctors through our platform, then 75% of the consultancy fee will come to us. So with the doctorpreneur program, आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है कि अगर आप एक जनरल फिजिशियन हैं या आप एक कोई पर्टिकुलर स्पेशलिस्ट हैं, तो आप अपने एग्जिस्टिंग क्लिनिक को एक मल्टी स्पेशलिटी क्लिनिक में कन्वर्ट कर लेते हो, जहां पर हमारे जितने डॉक्टर्स हैं जो हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पर प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, they also become your partners, they also become other doctors in your clinic, and they will be available to offer consultancy for specializations where you don't have the capability. So when I talk about the marketing support, and this is very important, I'll talk about the entire support infrastructure that exists for all franchise partners. But before that, I would like to talk about the breakup, especially for the two models, which is the health and wellness center and the clinic. So health and wellness center mein, the pharmacy and the lab setup would cost you about 5.5 lakh rupees. Our franchise fee is 4 lakh rupees plus GST. You will need to take licenses worth about 30,000 rupees. Plus एक initial stock of consumables and non-consumables होगा, जिसमें आपका television, oxygen cylinder, bandages, etc. आते हैं. The cost of fabricating of the entire clinic, the branding, the signages, is expected to be about 2 lakh rupees, 2.5 lakh rupees, and plus you will have to have computer and accessories, which will cost you about 50,000 rupees. So all in all, the total investment is roughly about 15 lakh rupees if you're looking at setting up an comprehensive health and wellness center. The second is the program which is called the clinic program, which is consultation only. So यहाँ पर आपका total investment would be roughly about 8 lakh rupees. And the breakup is what you're already seeing on the screen. One thing that I would like to point out is that for both these formats, whether आप health and wellness center में invest करते हैं या clinic में करते हैं, our recommendation is that these models are best suited for non-tier 1 cities. क्योंकि tier 1 cities जैसे दिल्ली, मुंबई, बैंगलोर हो गए, यहाँ पर the doctors are already present. There are a lot of very good doctors, very good hospitals, very good clinics, and patients don't have to move very far off. But for tier 2 and tier 3 cities जैसे भोपाल हो गया, इंदौर हो गया, रांची, गुवाहाटी, जमशेदपुर, कोचीन, ऐसे जगहों पर जहां पर बेस्ट पॉसिबल हेल्थ केयर अवेलेबल नहीं है, and a lot of people have to go to the metro cities even for the smallest of ailments, this would be the perfect solution. I'm not ruling out tier 1 cities. अगर tier 1 city में आपके पास एक compelling case है या आप already एक pharmacy या clinic चलाते हैं, then this is also a very good solution because we know that this will only help you increase your income and increase your revenue share. Overall, we are very focused on outcomes and accountability. And like I mentioned before, we are not just a doctor aggregation platform. We are very selective. We are a patient's first platform, and the entire program, whether it is the franchise program or the online program that we have developed, these have been developed keeping the patient's health in mind, and also to ensure that we are with the patient through the entire treatment journey. Sari responsibility hamari hai. Remassis nurses would identify what is your problem. They would decide who is the right doctor for you. You as a patient don't have to take that trouble. What we also do, and this is very important, that we organize regular health and wellness camps. तो आप किसी भी फॉर्मेट में इन्वेस्ट करते हो, हम क्या करेंगे, जब हमने क्लिनिक को 2 महीने चला लिया, तो we will have a lot of data with us. We will get a good understanding, a very fair understanding of what are the kind of diseases for which there is more demand in your market. And then what we are going to do is we are going to organize a proper health camp at your clinic where our doctor will travel all the way down to your city on our expenses. He will spend a couple of days there. He will examine as many patients as possible. He will recommend them diagnosis. And very importantly, he will then also recommend a very comprehensive therapy program. तो स्पेशली जो लोग हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, वहां पर एक बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी बनेगी. एंड आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. सो वी हैव अ क्लिनिक इन दिस सिटी कॉल्ड अगरतला, which is in northeast India, and Agartala is very close to the Bangladesh border, so we get a lot of patients both from Agartala as well as from Bangladesh. What we realized, we launched this clinic in February 2021, and within 2 महीने हमें ये realize हो गया कि अगरतला और surrounding areas में न्यूरोलॉजी के बहुत इश्यूज हैं. And we realized that a lot of patients travel to cities like Kolkata and Chennai to take neurology treatment. They spend money in travel, they spend money on the doctor, they spend money at stay, but they're afraid. They're really afraid of taking any treatment in Agartala. So हमने क्या किया? We organized a comprehensive 2 days camp at Agartala. We got one of our neurologists to travel from Bangalore all the way to Agartala. इस 2 दिन के कैंप में he examined more than 50 patients who had neurological issues. And उसके बेसिस पर एक तो उन्होंने वहां पर कंसल्टेंसी प्रोवाइड करी, उसके बाद दवाइयां प्रिस्क्राइब करी, बट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली उन्होंने एक प्रॉपर थेरेपी प्रोग्राम बनाकर दिया. एंड अगरतला के क्लिनिक में हमने करीब 100 स्क्वायर फीट एरिया में एक प्रॉपर थेरेपी सेंटर सेटअप करा है, जहां पर ऑल इंपॉर्टेंट थेरेपी इक्विपमेंट्स आर केप्ट. And 17 patients have subscribed to this complete 1 month long therapy, which includes video consultation with our neurologist, video consultation with our psychiatrist, video consultation with our dietitian. But on top of that, there is a physiotherapist जो clinic पर present है, और हर दिन ये patients आते हैं and complete therapy program को avail करते हैं. And each patient is paying 11,000 rupees for this 1 month therapy, which will make them 100% fit, 100% ready to resume normal activities. So in your cases also, जहां पर भी हम identify करते हैं कि there are certain problems that are more common in your area, certain problems which are facing a lot of demand, we would actually have one of our doctors travel down to your clinic and run a proper health camp there. Our target would be to run 2 health camps every month for every clinic that would be coming on board the Remassis franchise platform. Patients को हम regularly उनके health index, scorecards वगैरह देते हैं, so that patient, doctor and the nurses are aware of the progress in the health report of the patient. Now, this is the overall support infrastructure that is available to all the franchise partners that come on board. जो लोग clinic या health and wellness center लगाना चाहते हैं, आपके लिए हम आपके शहर में right location निकाल कर दे सकते हैं. So we have a proper real estate team that will help you find out the right location in your area, and that will help you set up the entire clinic from scratch. The responsibility of recruiting the nurse, training them and deploying them at your clinics would be 100% ours. Technology platform hamara hi hai. And I would like to talk about the technology platform. It is not just a video consultation platform. It is a comprehensive prescription management, patient management and EMR platform. तो जब नर्स अपना एक पेशेंट को जब पेशेंट नर्स के पास आते हैं एंड द नर्स वुड अंडरस्टैंड द सिम्टम्स, नर्स उनके सारे वाइटल्स मेजर करती हैं और इसको इमीडिएटली हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे अपलोड कर देती हैं. उसके बाद जब डॉक्टर के साथ वीडियो कॉल इनिशिएट होता है तो जितना भी इंफॉर्मेशन नर्स ने अपलोड किया है, डॉक्टर इज एबल टू सी दैट रियल टाइम. सो इसका एडवांटेज क्या है कि डॉक्टर के पास ऑलरेडी पेशेंट का बैकग्राउंड है, पेशेंट के सिम्टम्स हैं, पेशेंट के वाइटल्स हैं और वो पेशेंट को बेटर कंसल्ट कर सकते हैं. ये भी नहीं, इसके बाद जब डॉक्टर कंसल्टेंसी लिखना शुरू करेंगे, प्रिस्क्रिप्शन लिखना शुरू करेंगे, तो द डॉक्टर, द पेशेंट एंड द नर्स can also see it real time on their screen, so they can ask questions then and there itself. एक बार prescription complete होता है तो it automatically gets delivered to the WhatsApp number and the email ID of the patient. तो patient को paperwork carry करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Whenever he comes next, he can open the prescription on his WhatsApp or on his email. Yeah, if the patient doesn't have the prescription on his phone, then that prescription is already stored on our platform online. So our doctor or our nurse can pull down the prescription of the patient at any point in time and refer to it. Marketing, we would be absolutely supporting you. We are a very strong digital marketing team. So the moment you launch your clinic in any given area of Delhi, our digital marketing team will start targeting patients that are living in and around that area, informing them that a Remassis clinic has arrived in their neighborhood and there are various issues for which they can seek the consultancy there. In addition to the online consultancy, we would also need your support as franchise partners to promote your brand hyper-locally. So आपको हम guide करेंगे, हमारी marketing team आपको visit करेगी, understand करेगी what all marketing activities can be done in the neighborhood. They will be providing you with all the designs. Local distribution and execution would be your responsibility. Most importantly, we are very focused on patient delight. We love to call it OPD. We suffer from OPD, which is obsessive patient delight. तो patients को हम regularly track करते हैं. Our technology platform is already customized to keep sending regular alerts, SMSs to patients. But on top of that, whenever a patient visits any Remassis clinic anywhere in India, he is allocated a dedicated patient representative or a key account manager. She would be a nurse and she would be regularly in touch with the patient to make sure that the patient is having his medicines regularly, is getting lab tests done, and wherever the nurse feels कि patient का progress सही direction में नहीं जा रहा है, she would immediately organize a follow-up consultation for that patient. So as long as you're a franchise partner in the Remassis system, this entire support ecosystem would be available to you. The second model that we are talking about is the conversion franchise model, which is a specially curated model for doctors, pharmacists, and laboratory entrepreneurs. So अगर आपका खुद का lab है या आपका खुद की pharmacy है, या if you're a doctor who already has a clinic or has a plan to set up a clinic in the near future, then we would love to collaborate with you. For a doctor, we would love to collaborate and help you convert your existing clinic into a multi-specialty clinic. अगर आप एक pharmacist हैं या अगर आप एक lab entrepreneur हैं, तो हमारे साथ जुड़कर आप, in addition to your regular business, you would also be able to offer video-based consultancy to the patients. Very importantly, if you're a pharmacist, आपकी जो inventory है, वो हम immediately online कर लेते हैं, ताकि जब हमारे doctors कोई recommendation दें या कोई prescription दें, तो he knows कि आपकी pharmacy पे क्या-क्या medicines available हैं, and accordingly he will prescribe so that the patients after the consultancy can also buy the medicines from you. So as a pharmacist, एक तो आपको additional revenue होगा because you are also offering video consultation, but on top of that, आपका जो prescription का size है and जो number of लोग जो आपसे prescription लेते हैं, वो भी बढ़ जाएगा. When we talk about the upgradation to Remassis, अगर आप doctor हैं या आप existing pharmacist हैं, तो कुछ चीजें हैं जो आपके फार्मा में या आपके क्लिनिक पे होनी जरूरी हैं, जिसके बिना काम नहीं हो सकता. So something as simple as अगर आप डॉक्टर हैं तो आपका क्लिनिक होना चाहिए या आपका प्लान होना चाहिए टू स्टार्ट अ क्लिनिक. आप अगर फार्मासिस्ट हैं तो आपके पास खुद का फार्मेसी होना चाहिए. You have to have a decent Wi-Fi internet connectivity. You have to have all the vitals instruments that are required to carry out the vital checks. So जैसे thermometer, glucometer, oxygen cylinder, blood pressure monitor, all these should be present at your clinic or at your setup. Very importantly, एक nurse होनी चाहिए या एक paramedic होना चाहिए who would be the first point of interaction for the patient before the patient is connected to the doctor. We would also recommend having an LED TV ताकि कंसल्टेंसी और क्लियर हो जाए, डॉक्टर आपको बड़ा दिखे, पेशेंट को एक कॉन्फिडेंस एंड कंफर्ट लेवल आता है. साथ में द एरिया शुड बी वेरी क्लीन, वेरी वेल लिट, एंड देयर शुड बी सम स्पेयर एरिया inside your existing setup to install the Remassis monitoring system. The ultimate growth is that we want to build a holistic business for you and help you grow. So first is हम आपको upgradation में help करते हैं. You pay only 50,000 rupees plus GST, against which we are also going to provide you some initial marketing kit. We will be collaborating with you, helping you improve your revenues, helping you improve your bottom line, increasing the number of consultancy that can happen from your setup. And ultimately, all this would translate into increased revenue. आपके पेशेंट्स को फॉलो करना, मेक श्योर करना कि आपके पेशेंट्स की ट्रीटमेंट सही डायरेक्शन में जा रही है, दैट इज आल्सो समथिंग दैट आवर टेक्नोलॉजी प्लेटफॉर्म डज. कोई भी कंसर्न आता है, अ रेड फ्लैग इज रेज्ड एंड द पेशेंट इज इमीडिएटली टेकन फॉर अ फॉलो अप कंसल्टेशन. Very importantly, we also have tie-ups with hospitals. So in case there is the requirement for a surgical intervention, there is a requirement for proper hospital-based treatment, your patients would be recommended to these hospitals that are already on the Remassis platform, and then your clinic would get a certain referral commission for recommending that patient. So that could be also an added revenue stream for each franchise partner that comes on board. This is the last slide where we talk about the franchise onboarding process flow. So we are talking today, we are helping you understand the Remassis franchise proposition. जो भी interested होगा, इसके बाद we would be doing a one-on-one call with you to do a deeper dive to help you understand the model and to answer any detailed questions that you have. एक बार आप satisfied हो, एक बार आप convinced हो कि this is the model that you want to invest in and this is the model that you want to move forward with, then last round में we will also be arranging your interview with our doctors panel. So we would like to share that we have a very elite panel of doctors, and these are the doctors that have been associated with Remassis from day zero. These are the doctors that have helped us build the platform. They have critiqued us, they have given us the feedback, and they are literally like co-founders in this company. So एक बार जब आपने decide कर लिया कि this is the right business for you, this is the right franchise format for you, your last round of interview would be with our doctors panel. And once we receive a green signal from them, once they believe that you're the right entrepreneur to partner with for your city, for your area, then we would start the formalities and the onboarding process. This is the team of founders. So I and my co-founder Abhishek started this company almost about 2 years back. In fact, like I said before, Abhishek is one of the top 10 technologists in the country, and he has developed this entire telemedicine platform from scratch. In fact, we also offer our telemedicine platform as a service to a lot of big hospitals in the US. And we have also offered this to a few large hospital chains in India, like the Fortis. A very brief about myself before I ask Abhishek to introduce himself. I'm also the founder of UClean, which is today India's largest laundry and dry cleaning chain. In fact, UClean is also India's fastest growing franchise-based brand in 2019 and 20. We are currently present in 66 cities of India with more than 250 franchise outlets, which has made us, in fact, the largest laundry brand in the entire South region. I'm an IIT Bombay alumnus, and Abhishek and I are actually batchmates, classmates, and hostel mates. And I'll pass it on to Abhishek to also briefly introduce himself before we open the floor to questions.
Thank you, Arnav. Am I audible, Arnav?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So like Arnav said, both of us are batchmates, classmates, in fact, hostel mates and floor mates. So basically we were also on the same floor, also in the same hostel. So yeah, the journey started right away from there. And eventually we are also from the same city, Jamshedpur. So both of us. So that's where we are from, right? Before this, this platform that we have developed Actually, we have done a lot of POC with this platform for US healthcare. So this platform initially, when I had developed for remote patient monitoring, I had developed for US healthcare market in the year 2012. So since then, I have been doing research and coming up with a lot of, so making sure that the product is compliant, so everything is in-house, and we take care of all the HIPAA and GDPR and as well as telemedicine guidelines set across India and abroad, right? So we have been compliant with those things. We have done a lot of we have run a lot of corporate kiosks as a small clinics in the corporates that are still running when we started our journey initially. It's now only that we have opened it to public to make sure that this this novel idea gets spread across India so that we can handle this the dearth of primary care all across India. So that is where we are coming from. A very brief about me. Before this, I've also been running a very successful company for the last 8 to 9 years, which is Zozo Day, which is now a 400 crore company already, and we have offices in US and Europe that has already gone into auto mode, and now I am looking into to make this idea as a unicorn idea all across India and above India and abroad, right? So welcome all, and I think what I'll do is I'll read out some of the questions that we have from some of the audience, right? And I'll try to keep it in English as requested by most of the people. So if any one of you would want me to answer your query in Hindi, please let me know on the chat, and I would answer that thing in Hindi. There are one or two queries which I'll take in Hindi. For example, एक query था care में doctor rate क्या है, डॉक्टर रेट है या नहीं. सो बेसिकली मतलब जैसा कि नॉर्मल कंसल्टेशन होता है फिजिकली, ये कंसल्टेशन भी वैसा ही है. टेलीमेडिसिन पे भी ऑनलाइन कंसल्टेशन होता है. रेट्स आप डिसाइड करते हैं. यू एज अ डॉक्टर यू डिसाइड द रेट्स ऑफ योर कंसल्टेशन. वी कीप सम मार्कअप ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट as margin that we also earn, and we update you with that. So that is how it's decided. The rates are the consultations differ between 300 to 1,000 for normal kind of consultations, but there are various kinds of doctors, very super specialists who also charge somewhere between 2,500 to 3,000 per consultation. So we have doctors in that range also. Then there was another question which was from Dr. Pooja, which is like what technology we are using and is it in-house developed? So yes, so we are using a microservices architecture purely. So in microservices architecture, we use multiple technology based on what all things we will be using. So we are also using a lot of AI-enabled services, and also the video technology is purely developed in-house and hosted in-house. So all the servers, everything is hosted in India purely because of the Indian guideline that the data should not go out of India region. So that also is taken care. So who is the owner of the patient data? So I would say the patient is the owner of his own data. We only take consent of sharing all the data with any of the doctors. So basically when he does a consultation or books a consultation, there is a consent form that he has to sign that okay, he will be sharing his data, and he unless he takes it, he will not be able to book a consultation. So we do a consent. The data that we generate, that is highly encrypted in our database. So none of the engineers or junior level people have access to that thing. Only me, I have access to the database server. But even then, those data are highly encrypted. I would not. It is very difficult for me to decrypt because those work in a one-way encryption technique, right? So that is what we have used. Then the other question was what is the cost per consultation? So as I said, the consultation depends upon, of course, your specialty and your reason of your area of interest. And this range between normally that we have seen the average cost ranges between 300 rupees to 1,000 rupees per consultation, right? So there was another question that is it suitable for people who do not have a medical background, as finding suitable and responsible nurse and other staff will be a challenge. Yeah, so basically, eventually, I mean, this program that we are doing today, mostly we have tried to keep as doctors, but we have also the clinics that we are running in Agartala, in Chandigarh. They are managed by non-medical background people, and the only thing that we require is their in high level of involvement in running the clinic, because that would be required to get enough number of patients. We run a lot of camps, which means that a lot of doctors will keep visiting your clinic. So you'll never face the problem of doctors not having doctors at your clinic, right? For suitable and responsible nurses, we do the hiring, we train them, and we monitor them very closely along with you. So you don't have to worry about hiring or training the nurse yourself. That is our responsibility. So there was question is in like what all is included in wellness clinic. I think Arnav has answered that, but Arnav, would you want to take that question again? What all are included in wellness clinic?
What all is included in the wellness and
Wellness clinic? Yes, wellness package. Yeah.
the wellness package or the wellness clinic? I'm not able to see that question.
So the question is, what all is included in wellness clinic?
In the wellness clinic, okay. Yeah, so the health and wellness clinic is our most comprehensive format, which would require a minimum of 800 square feet area. And this would have multiple chambers within the area. So one would be what we call the waiting hall or the interaction chamber, where the nurse interacts with the patient before taking them to the video consultancy room. But very importantly, the wellness room, which is, I would say, the USP of this entire format, would be an entire large room, possibly the largest room inside that entire setup, where you would have very specific equipment and instruments. And what we do is that these equipments and instruments are decided basis the potential for that particular micro market. So as an example, I'll talk about our clinic in Chandigarh. And this is a very large size. It's almost a mini hospital that we have in Chandigarh. And what we realized there was that one common issue or one very popular issue that people in that particular area of Greater Chandigarh face is neurology related. So there we have set up an entire neurotherapy room where what we have done is we organize 2 visits from our neurologist every month to Chandigarh. And after consultation, he recommends a complete comprehensive package for recuperation of the patient. So apart from the medicine, this also includes a basic gym. He also carries out Shirodhara. He also carries out certain physiotherapy exercises. So these patients, apart from their regular medicines that have been advised, they also come every alternate day to the clinic and they undergo this entire therapy program under the guidance of our neurologist who is present remotely and the physiotherapist who is present at the clinic. So some basic exercises, some Shirodhara exercises, some other exercises that are very unique to our Remassis neurology program. So everywhere, wherever you are setting up a health and wellness center, we would run it for a couple of months, understand what are the more common symptoms in and around that area, which require a more holistic intervention. And accordingly, the wellness room would be designed keeping that in mind. Apart from that, you would have the basic vital instruments like a patient bed, oxygen cylinder, other vital instruments like glucometer, stethoscope, BP monitoring instrument, which are also present in the Remassis clinic format.
Right. Thanks, Arnav. Thanks for taking up that question. And there are a lot of questions already pouring in. So I'll quickly go through other questions that are there. So again, questions from Dr. Pooja. Do you guys save the video consultations? Are you guys compliant with telemedicine guidelines of India? Yes. So we in fact follow all the telemedicine rule. And if you want, if you have some time, we can give you a demo of the platform. You will see that each and every aspect of telemedicine guideline updating to patient, taking consent, and everything is well covered on our platform from the guideline perspective. And if you look into the platform, you'll get all your answers covered from the guidelines perspective. And yes, we are compliant. In short, we saving video consultations again is depending upon the consent. So we ask consent whether they want to save or not, and if they don't, then we don't save it. If they say okay, they are okay, then we do save it. So who is responsible to get the footfall in the clinic? So basically, I would say online, it's purely brand's responsibility. That means Remassis responsibility. But offline, it's a joint effort, which means that both Remassis and the franchise partner has to take care of offline activities that we're doing. So what we do is we support and we support with a lot of collaterals, with guidelines, with all the advisory, everything, and we help you in execution of those things on the offline. Online, we take it up purely ourselves, and so majority, I think, I would say 70-80% is our responsibility to get the patients. 20-30% is franchise responsibility.
Sure. Abhishek, I think we've covered a lot of questions already. I'll just pick one question which I did see coming
Sure, sure.
our audience. And while we have covered on the capex of all the four formats, two questions very quickly that I'll like to ask. One is typical, revenue or a throughput, these four formats can do is one of my questions, and the margins the business would have. And second, when we talk about format 3 and 4, where we talk about maybe existing lab owners, doctors to convert, what is the delta or the value add, they do you think they would be able to get converting them to a Remassis partner?
Sure.
Right.
So, Abhishek, you want to take it up or should I take it up?
So I'm answering, while I'm answering all the queries, why don't you take this up? Yeah.
Sure. So I'll divide the formats we have talked about. So when you look at a typical Remassis clinic or a typical Remassis health and wellness center, you have a capacity to consult about 60 patients on a per day basis. And these 60 patients is what you would be able to do at a peak capacity. But assuming that you're only doing about 30 patients per day, you would be able to break even in about 2 to 3 months, and you would be able to recoup your initial investment in a typical clinic in about 12 to 15 months, and in the health and wellness center in about 18 months. Here I've assumed only one health camp that you would be doing on a per month basis, while our target is to do 2 to 3 health camps per month with every clinic. So if I look at the existing numbers for our existing clinics that started about 12 to 15 months back, they've already recouped their initial investment. Now, when I talk about the pharmacy and the clinic and the docpreneur model in particular, if I talk about the docpreneur model, and I'll again give you some examples, we have multiple clinics or multiple docpreneur models running in Gorakhpur, Noida, and Lucknow. So what we have seen there is that it would take a doctor, it would add on about 30% to the existing revenue of the doctor, assuming that you have a decently well-doing doctor who is consulting 15 to 20 patients on a per day basis. We would be able to add another 10 patients to your patient footfall. And this would just be incremental revenue for you because you already have the clinic set up, you're already paying the rent, you're already paying the salaries of your staff. So whatever is coming through Remassis would be an incremental revenue for you. So your 50,000 that we expect you to invest initially, you should be able to recover in it about 2 to 3 months.
Sorry, I'm on mute. I see a lot of questions still coming in, as the friends close we're coming to maybe the last few minutes of closing of the webinar. I will request all of you, and since a lot of you are also from the existing business, and I see a lot of doctors also present on the webinar who are looking at some kind of conversion or maybe value add to the existing services, and a lot of people I see have even questioned on the experience they should carry if they want to own. So I feel the model is overall very inclusive, and for people who are already from the existing business, there's a model for them, and even people who are not from the trade and they don't have any experience in the medical line, it is open. So what we can do, friends, we can take up all these questions one to one, and a lot of you have asked on the ROI, financial breakup, capex, and also locations where you want to open. I feel we can have a detailed discussion in the coming week, and there's a discovery day that we have kept, and I feel we can take all these questions and maybe put a half an hour slot on a Zoom or a virtual meet that we can do independently with each of you. So Ashna, have we fixed a date that we can announce or we can decide either of the two?
Yeah, 26th of June, that is Saturday.
Sure. So friend, this is 26th of June, which is Saturday that we have decided. But if you think any of these time or dates is not, for example, not available on that day, we can even prepone. And by the end of the day, you will hear from us. We'll write to all of you, and you can share your profiles, your city, and we'll start fixing your calls for the coming week, which is next Saturday. And before we close, I'll again request Arnab and Abhishek a closing remark from you to all the audience. I think there has been a great response from all of them and very relevant questions that we've seen in the webinar. Over to you.
Arnav, why don't you go first? Yeah.
So I would say, first of all, thank you everyone who have been very patient and have heard us for the last 1 hour. As you all know, healthcare is one of the sectors that has always been evergreen. One of the fastest growing sectors in the franchising industry right now is the healthcare sector. But COVID-19 has further accelerated the growth of healthcare and the growth of telemedicine in particular. And we all know that COVID-19 has also changed the behavior of the patient permanently. So while we might win the battle with COVID-19 over the next couple of years, the behavior or the fear of the patient would not change. So the changes that COVID-19 has brought about in particular, these are going to be lasting and permanent changes. And telemedicine would only continue to grow by leaps and bounds from here. So there cannot be a better time and there cannot be a better opportunity to invest in the healthcare and in the telemedicine sector in particular. Understanding the challenges of telemedicine in particular, we have also deliberately created a model which is phygital in nature, because we understand that telemedicine alone would not be able to solve for all the pain points of the patients. And hence this model, which is now tested for more than a year, has been curated keeping both the physical and the technology aspect in mind. And we would love to collaborate with the passionate entrepreneurs, regardless of whether you have a medical background or not, but you need to have a keen interest in healthcare, in telemedicine, and very importantly, you need to believe in the phygital model that Remassis is trying to pioneer. Abhishek, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Arnav. I think, and thank you for all the feedback and all the queries. I think they are still pouring in, and this is very exciting. So what we have seen that, and it's not just us. I think if you look at what government has been doing, government has been making a lot of quick changes in this telemedicine guidelines to accommodate this thing, because they have also understood that this is the need of the hour, and this is something which will handle. This is the only thing that will handle the entire India's medical needs, right? We are on the right path because we have seen a lot of success stories as part of this thing, and we have a lot of doctors have connected with us already on this journey, and they are getting benefited out of it. So I would request all of you to join hands together, and then let's benefit each other with this model, right?
Thank you so much, Arnav and Abhishek. And I would also like to add, friends, if you look at the current scenario, there's lack of physicians, even excessive load on the current healthcare system overall, social distancing barriers, and also need to consult with doctors remotely and added with convenience have actually increased the adoption of this particular technology, which is telehealth technology, which includes everything from preventive, promotive, and also curative care delivery. And what more, because data security is something which is of a prime concern and importance for every patient. And through the platform and sophisticated tech platform, that is also one area which I would say is a very big value add to the entire community and stakeholders. So friends, we have taken all your questions, and I will request all of you to reach out on the hotline number and also on our number that we email ID that we have given. And we'll reach out to you, all of you. And I do see still questions coming in. Venkatji will reach out to you, and we'll come back to you with your query, because I think he's a doctor, he's an eye doctor, and wanting to understand if there is something for him also in this business model. So friends, we'll reach out to you one-to-one, and I hope you have a great Sunday ahead. And before we close, I will also request Ashna to inform you about the events that we have during the day and tomorrow. Over to you, Ashna.
Thank you so much, Arnav. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining today on this beautiful afternoon of Sunday and presented your model. We would like to thank Sonia ma'am for joining us today. Dear friends, do reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 9717683838. We'll try to set up your call as soon as possible with Team Remassis. Please do connect with us at different social handles, information on your screen. Join us at the Facebook page of Franchiseindia Brands Limited, because we have created the entire video library of all the previously done webinars. Share your suggestion and feedback with us. You wish to connect with Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, that's the information about their LinkedIn IDs. Join them over the LinkedIn. And as we always have an objective to provide the maximum business opportunity for each one of you, we are inviting you to join us for Bharat Franchise Show, which will start at 7 p.m. Today, we are representing South India chapter, where we have invited our 7 top brands to talk about their business model. To get the registration link, you can either reach out to us at our business hotline number or go on Facebook. Link is available for the registration. And tomorrow, under Business Opportunity over Webinar Series, we are bringing the legend brand. That's GOBP we are announcing and launching tomorrow. That's a great opportunity for each one of you. Don't miss this opportunity. Do registration today itself so that you can join us tomorrow sharp 12 p.m. So that's from our side. Thank you once again for joining in today. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.